could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to
You guys make a committee back here, but they're good enough. They can kind of talk about it, and they can kind of go from one song into another. And as a DJ, that's what I'm doing. It's on one ear, I'm listening to this song while I'm queuing up the next song, while I'm also making sure that things are happening, and it's a flow. There we go. So now you're into another song, and you got to keep the groove going. And then, this is where it happened. This is where my wife made me stop. I become a slave to the groove. I can't get out. I want to get out, but I can't get out. It's like 2 in the morning, and I can't stop, you know? And you want your business to feel like that, right? So what's going to kill your vibe with your business, your energy, is going to be like just one horrible employee makes the music stop, right? You don't want that. So one employee, one weird employee kills the whole energy. Just one, you know, so at a wedding or a party, there would be one guy who's like, I don't like it, it's too loud. And I would go, you want it louder? And he would go, it's too loud, I don't like it, I'm a Baptist. I'm like, louder, a little bit louder. That's how you neutralize that person. You throw them under the bus, okay? You're either the train or the track, but either way, something's gonna happen here. You're the train or the track. Someone should write that down. Your business, you're the train or the track, right? So you gotta just, if anybody is trying to kill your mojo, you gotta just push through it, right? You gotta push through it. You might have a customer that doesn't like your new business model. You just gotta push through it, right? You gotta push through it. You gotta push it. And what happens is, your tendency as a DJ is when you get any pushback from the crowd, there's usually one woman, she's a nice lady, but she wants to sing I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, and she wants to do karaoke, and you have to tell her no. And then she gets pissed, and so you have to say, and definitely no, and then you just keep going, okay? But you're gonna run into some adversity. It's gonna happen. So, Charlie, if you could kind of play one more song, just one more of your favorite songs, one of your favorite jams, but I just wanna make sure you get this. When you go home, you're gonna run into somebody who's gonna push back. They don't like this new you. They don't like the momentum, and you gotta push through. You gotta push through, okay? So, you're gonna run into somebody. It's gonna be a customer or an employee. Back to Charlie Red one more time. Let's hear for Charlie Red, the Full Flavor Kings. Charlie, go for it. Hey!
You're gonna hear electric music, solid wall, the sound.
We love reggae. You guys want one more? You want one more? One more, Charlie. Go for it.
Is this love? I wanna love you and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night. We'll be together with the roof right over our head. Share the shelter of my single bed. We'll share the sun. Let jump from night to bed. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Love that I feel. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Love that I'm feeling. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know, baby. Cause I'm thinking that day before. Oh, that's why I put my heart on.
Yes. 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 Hey, are you out of here at 3? What time are you out of here? You out at 3? You at 3? Okay, well, I'll come back to you in 5 minutes. Okay, we'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay. So let's go back to page 81. 81. Now, page 81, this page here, I want to bring up Aaron Antis real quick, and I want to bring up Carter. We're going to get into the questions on the board. But page 81, the client on page 80 claims that page 81 changed his life, so that's why he went to page 80, okay? So I update this. If you come to conferences, everyone, I update this book a little bit every time, okay? So page 80, the guy on page 80 is the guy who said that page 81 changed his life, okay? So it's very, very important that you understand these systems. They might not be the fun chapters, but page 81 changed this guy's life. So we're going to get into it real quick here, okay? So you go here, let's go to page 82. It says, checklists seem to defend anyone, even the experienced, against failure and many more tasks than we realized. We'll talk over the rain, but it says, checklists seem to defend anyone, even the most experienced, against failure in many more tasks than we realized. What does that mean? Checklists, right? The pen is for remembering, the brain is for thinking. So you got to have checklists or everybody's going to be pissed. Okay? You got to, who here has checklists in your business? Who's ever tried operating without a checklist? Who's experienced the change of having a checklist? So Aaron Shaw Holmes, you made the getting a review part of the customer checklist.
We did.
Explain how that worked.
So we found that the best time to ask somebody for a review was at the happiest moment in the encounter we had with them. And we found out that sometimes was not when the home was finished. It was when we were beginning, when they were signing contracts. How many of you, if you asked your wife for a review on your honeymoon, it would probably be a 5-star, but 18 years in on a really bad evening, you might not get a 5-star. Anybody? So we asked at the honeymoon period, and it was on the checklist, in the contract checklist, that we had to ask for it. And for the salesperson to turn in their commission form, it was on the commission form. Did you get a Google review? Did you ask for a Google review and get one?
Page 80, look at page 80. If you look at that client there, and what happened with this particular person is they did real estate photography.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time, developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that no, I mean, his stuff is not, revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff. And like group interviews, we were totally against group interviews. We were like, no, we're different and we're special, and we need to, do one-on-one interviews so we can find good quality candidates and not just kind of do this group interview thing. And we tried that and we failed miserably. We did group interviews. Now we do them every 2 weeks. And it's awesome. It works good. We always have kind of an influx of new people that we can train, get going. He's helped us a lot with our website, graphic design, SEO. SEO is another thing that I thought before I started this business and before Clay that it was kind of a joke, or something that only your Apples of the world and Amazon could get to the top of Google. But Clay said, no, just do these things. Follow these steps and you'll get there. And I think now we look today and we're number 2 for Dallas real estate photography. If you don't believe me, you can look. So we're getting to the top of there. That's really cool. It's really awesome to get leads that people will call you and say, hey, I found you on Google. We want to hear about your services. So that's really great. I'd say there's nobody out there that's not a good coaching client for Clay. Anyone, regardless of the business, it's not about what the business is, what the specialty is. It's about following the steps, doing what he says. It's a good thing. An hour a week, it gets you on track and keeps you kind of in line of what you're doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And it's good to kind of give you some flow and future goals of your business. And I remember our first meeting, we set our goals, and our goal was to do 16 shoots a week. And at the time, me and my business partner / girlfriend Gretchen were like, "Oh, we're never gonna do 16 a week. That's just like crazy." And today we're doing 9, and we did about 54 last week. So he's helped us grow. We've put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work as well. But if you follow his steps and do what he says, there's a lot of principles that he's kind of taught and instilled in us that help us. So. Clay Clark, he's the way to go. I wouldn't venture out to find someone else. They'd be more expensive and a lot more fluff and no real actionable work and things to get your business growing. So that's the way to go. Thanks.
Atul Gawande says, this is the best-selling author of Checklist Manifesto. He's a Harvard professor. He says, the volume and complexity of what we know has exceeded our individual ability to deliver its benefits correctly, safely, or reliably. Knowledge has both saved us and burdened us. Carter, if somebody's always chasing a new idea and they don't have a checklist, what happens? Because you work with great clients who you help master this, but without a checklist, what happens is they start adding a new idea. What happens to the old stuff?
It's nice to remove the clutter from your brain. So if you constantly have to remember how to do stuff, then you can't think strategically in the moment. And so if I have a checklist, I don't have to remember how to do it.
Yeah.
And I can think about the new thing much easier.
So Sean, go to my to-do list and look for the word laptop, L-A-P-T-O-P. Laptop. So whenever I travel, I don't really, when I travel, I'm kind of like giving a cat a bath when I travel. Have you ever given a cat a bath? You ever guys thought that'd be a fun idea to give your cat a bath? I don't really do well because I have my normal schedule. So if I'm in California and I'm used to waking up at 3, California, it's like 1 in the morning, So it's like when I was at Mar-a-Lago recently and I wake up at 3, which in Mar-a-Lago's 2, it's kind of weird because I'm the only one up, And I'm kind of looking around, trying to do my thing, and I'm trying to. So whenever you look for the word laptop, Sean, you find the word laptop, Command F, laptop. L-A-P-T-O-P. You find it. There you go. You look for it again. Laptop. There you go. So whenever I travel, I don't want to forget my calendar, my phone charger, my shaver, right? So I have a checklist for when I travel. Yep. Getting the idea? So I don't want to forget stuff. And every time I get in the car with my kids, I say phone, wallet, keys. Right? Phone, wallet, keys. Every time we get in the car, phone, wallet, keys. Because I don't want to get to the airport with 5 kids. The last trip we went on, I told all the kids they could bring a friend. So if you can picture, my wife and I, 5 kids and their 5 friends. So it's like there's 12 of us. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan when we travel. It's a lot of us. And I'm like, phone, wallet, keys. Phone, wallet, keys. You don't want to let the dumb stuff burden you. So I want to just encourage you, circle page 83, maybe dog-ear that page, or maybe if there's a better page that's maybe more detailed for you, that would take us to page. And again, this book is just filled with these kinds of things. And so we're going to go to page, let me see here. It'd be page, page 90. Page 90 has a treasure trove of stuff that you need to have to make your business not constantly make bonehead mistakes. So checklists, step-by-step videos your customers will actually watch, customized worksheets, one-sheets, call scripts, documented guidelines, okay? Customer relationship management software, written guidelines, menu pricing, pricing lists, employee handbooks, dress code. There's a lot of women that like to dress up like they're going to Halloween and they're a freshman at a college. Like the energy. Have you seen this before? You ever seen freshman women at a college for Halloween? Not a good look. So you don't want that look in your office. So you got a men that kind of want that homeless kind of energy, Okay, so 12, training mastery checklist, step-by-step instructions, pre-approved logos, number 15. Save your logo, right? How many of you want, you have a logo, you want to save a high-quality version so you can find it, okay? You want to have a file naming system, number 18, kind of skipping through these here. Pre-vetted vendors. Some of you were asking me, hey, who do you recommend for website in order to track website traffic? LuckyOrange.com. Who do you recommend for file sharing? Dropbox.com. Who do you recommend for checking search engine compliance? SEMrush.com. But you want to have a list. We do have a list of all those things. That's a big thing that we help people save time on. Standardized product numbers. Aaron, so much of this applies to home building. It's pretty crazy. 31 templates for legal agreements, sales contracts. If you don't have these things in place, what happens to your brain if every transaction is a completely new architecture?
Yeah, you don't have a path to where that is in your mind. It's kind of like if your house is a cluttered mess, you can't really find where anything is, right? If everything's got its place, it's easy to find it. And so we would always, in our nomenclature of how we named everything in folders, for example, I don't want to have to go more than 2 levels deep in a folder, or else I'm never going to find it. If it's like the path is so insane to get to the document you actually have, then everybody in the company goes, do you know where the logo is? I can't find the logo. And it creates utter chaos because you don't know where anything is.
If you want to make a great party, by the way, this is how you do it, okay? Sights, sounds, experiences, and a timeline broken down into 5-minute increments. Maybe one person cares, but that's okay. So, you go to a party and there's nothing going on. Who's been to a party where nothing's going on? And you're like, man, we're out. So if you want to make a great party, you do sights, sounds, smells, experiences, and a timeline in 5-minute increments. You say 5 minutes? Yeah, because otherwise people get kind of bored, so you make a timeline and you do that. So years ago we had Thanksgiving and somebody said, I can't remember how it happened, but we had Thanksgiving at our house. And I thought, well, all right, well, go back to my checklist, sights, sounds, smells. So I hired the chef for a local venue. So we had a chef with a chef hat making all sorts of chef stuff because I'm not going to cook anything for Thanksgiving. So he's there chefing it up. We got a great band, live music, fun stuff. But there's certain components that make a great party. Who here can make great dessert? Who can make great dessert? And you know what's great and what's not great. There's a recipe for that. So we want to have a recipe for success. Carter, let's go answer a couple more questions on the whiteboard if we can. And then we'll go back to Charlie Red for one final song if he's still here. Okay. So, question on the whiteboard. What do you got there, Aaron?
Can you get in trouble legally for using the financial stick discussed yesterday, how to set expectations with new cleaners on merit-based pay?
Yeah, and why don't you, I'm going to let you kind of erase that in between things or something. You can get in trouble for legally for anything. I don't know if have we come to grips with that as a culture? Because now, who goes back to, who remembers 84? 84? Remember 84? Who remembers 94? 94, 92? 92? Remember 92? 92 is the Reds were in the World Series versus the Oakland Athletics. Who remembers that time vaguely? The 90s, where you had a little Belle Biv DeVoe going on there, a little bit of Belle Biv DeVoe, R&B and hip hop was kind of a thing. Anyway, I just remember at school, I was living with my uncle, and my uncle Jerry, and I said, hey, Jerry, because my father was an only child. His dad passed away. He had a routine surgery, and my father's dad passed away in a routine surgery because they misread his chart, and they gave him the wrong medication. He died.
Also,
and a very
uncle.
traumatic, holy crap, what happened? Routine knee surgery, dead. Then my grandmother, who was married to the same man for 50-something years, they got married when they were 17. She went into a shock and had an actual literal stroke, and then she passed. So he lost both within a span of a very short period of time. So my parents shipped me to live with my Uncle Jerry. And my Uncle Jerry was like a guy who invented lunch cashier software. He invented that idea, that technology, and he sold it, but I didn't know that. All I knew is Jerry was an eccentric man that never dressed up, who lived in a massive, massive property in the woods somewhere in Minnesota, Darwin, Minnesota. And Jerry had all sorts of things he taught me about life, but I had to live with Jerry for about 6 months when my parents were sorting it out. And I remember I came home because I used to stutter. I couldn't talk. You know, that was not... anybody here used to stutter? You battled that a little bit? Speech impediments? Okay. So Jerry said, well, you should kick his ass. I go, what? He goes, well, who's making fun of you? And I said, Ryan. He goes, well, just kick his ass. I go, all right. Ass kicking we go. You know, so I went to school, and then Ryan was making fun of me, and I kicked his ass, you know, and AKA threw a haymaker, and then whoever hits first wins, by the way. That's the key to fighting. So throw, you know, and he didn't expect it, and it was, you know, and then my principal Johnson, Mr. Clark, to the principal's office, and I'm going, that's me, you know. So you go there, and Uncle Jerry gets the call, and he comes up, and hey, son, can you tell your Uncle Jerry what you did? I'm like, well, the guy made fun of me, you know, for stuttering, and I kicked his ass, you know. And he's like, don't say ass. Okay. I punched him in the face. Do you feel bad? No, sir, I do not. Okay. Can you? Well, you're going to detention. Jerry's like, that's good. That's my nephew right there. Good job. Put her here. You know. And I'm like, all right, cool. That was kind of the '90s. Who remembers the '90s? You would just do that. You would just let it happen. Now people even say a verbal thing like, you stutter, and then I would like file a lawsuit for what, bullying, and then I'm on like Oprah with a bunch of celebrities who are on there. And we're talking about my bullying issue. Remember that? Okay? So it's a different time, a different era, but you can be sued for almost anything now. You can be. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to try to come up with a system for payments that is super legal. I'll get into how to do that when we come back. But I think we have Charlie for one more song. Are you guys here for one more song? Okay, Charlie, let's do one more song before you have to leave. Whatever song you want to play. Normally you got a band of 5. A lot of times if you let Charlie, he might even go 8. He'll bring in horns if you want to. I've seen him bring in background singers. I've seen it all. You guys can do what you want. However, I called Charlie. I said, Charlie, let's get together the trio. But he could go. Charlie could go 50 deep if you wanted. It could be the Wu-Tang Clan tonight if we wanted it to. But hey, Charlie, you want to play your favorite jam, whatever that is? And then we'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay, one more time. Let's hear for Charlie Red and the Full Flavor Kings. Yeah.
Y'all mind putting your hands together for Isaiah Sullivan on the drums. Bobby Black Keys Mafia. Mafia Jr. on the keyboards. We're gonna play a little bit of Prince.
Let's hear for Charlie Red and the Full Flavor Kings. Thank you, guys. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you. You guys are great. All right. Yes. Okay. Let's keep going. Where's Mark at? Mark, you up here? Can you come up here? Mark builds garages and more. I think that's what he does. Let's bring up Mark. And then is Greg here? Is Greg here? Where's JD at? Where's JD at? Is JD here? JD, come on up here. Is Greg here? Is your dad here? Let's bring up Greg. Joe, why don't you and your dad come up here too, okay? So back to the employee compensation thing. Let's talk about this. So in Oklahoma, every state has your own minimum wage rules or whatever, but whatever the minimum wage are, what you want to do is you want to set it up as a bonus system, but it really is a stick and a carrot, if that makes any sense. So you'd say every time that you work at, let's say, our haircut place, Elephant in the Room, you're going to make $10 an hour, let's say, but then every time that you gather an objective review from a customer, I'm going to give you $5. But it could be perceived as you're not making $5 if you don't. Does that make sense? Or every time that the customer is wowed, you're making a $15 bonus. Thus, effectively, you're making $25 an hour. But if the customer is not wowed, then you're making $10 an hour. Does that make sense? You just want to set it up in that way so that a sincere person working hard could make good money, right? So in our office, the meritocracy works like this, is if you're doing a really good job, you'll make good money. But if you're not, you won't. And so I had a pretty not positive conversation with a coworker a couple weeks ago, and they were like, man, I don't understand. I'm making like half as much as this person, and I've been in this particular industry doing this thing for 20 years. I don't get it. Like a new person is making more than I am, and I've been doing it for 20 years, you know? And I said, well, it's a meritocracy. It's not based off of legacy or academia or any of those false things that don't matter in the world of capitalism. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Karime, is that helpful at all? Yeah. Okay. So JD, let's do the next question on the board if we can. What's the next question on the board? Any question you want to go with? Any question?
Keyword weight loss services.
Okay, keyword weight loss services. Okay, so Sean, Google search weight loss services. What city are we typing in? What city? What city? What city is that? What city corresponds with that keyword? Chattanooga? Is that Tennessee? Okay, so Chattanooga weight loss services. Okay, so Mark, what do you do, by the way? What do you do?
I do garage building and home additions.
I'll have you hold the mic a little bit closer just because we got the rain, the whole thing. Okay, so what do you do again?
Garages. I build garages, home additions, things of that nature.
Where are you based?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, so let's do a new tab, Sean, and type in Cleveland, Ohio garage, maybe just garage contractor maybe or something, just to kind of get the conversation started. Okay, so we got that. Okay, and then you see there's a category there. Everybody see that category? It says garage builder. Do you see that? Everybody see that? So I didn't choose that category, but Google did. So your keyword would need to be garage builder, and then the city.
Yeah.
Making sure we got that. And then your Chattanooga, and we're going to do back to that search results, Sean. So we need to keep both search results going. So Chattanooga weight loss service. That's where we want to make sure in the category of weight loss service. I'm not saying you're not, but we'd want to be. And then the keyword on the website would want to correspond with that category. Am I communicating succinctly? Because if I'm not, there's no bad students, just bad teachers. Does that make sense? Yeah. And what's going to happen is Google is not going to behave the way you want it to as quickly as you want it to. And so the process then is to write all your content about that keyword. So the keyword would be weight loss service Chattanooga, and we want to keep writing VISM. So video clips, images, search engine content, more Google reviews, until eventually we come up top for that. I don't know if that's helpful. Maybe that's not helpful. Go ahead and yell at me. You were coming up, but now you're not. Okay, and so what do we need to look up? What's the name? One Together Coaching. So let's type in One Together Coaching. And then type in Chattanooga weight loss. And let's just kind of look into that a little bit. Okay. Okay, and there's no bad students, just bad teachers. So here we go, looking it up there. Okay, so One Together Coaching and Consulting. Okay, holistic weight loss. That's you, weight loss service. Okay, so let's go to the home page. And then so what we'd want to do is that's the category that Google's established. So what we're going to do, and if you just put this down, I promise we'll get it done between now and let's say Monday afternoon. So just write it down, and then we'll bring it up on your call. We'll knock it out. If your call's not later in the week, but we'll do it Monday. We'll just knock it out. So just write it down, then we'll follow up on it. But what we'd want to do is we want to, what you'd call maybe re-index, or basically we're going to make sure that that keyword is on every page 6 times. We're going to go through, and then we're going to resubmit it to Google. And maybe the way to look at it is you sent your cousin a letter in the mail because you're kind of, wanting to send a wedding invitation, and maybe they didn't get it. And so you're calling and maybe sending it again, or maybe it was like a piece of mail didn't show up and you're resending it. And so for some reason, maybe Google, the search engine console, didn't receive that message. And so we're going to re-index it. So you just tell your consultant, say, we're going to re-index it with that keyword, and I'll get involved there, but we'd resubmit that. Now, sometimes it has to happen a handful of times. Has anybody here, by show of hands, had to resubmit or re-verify your Google map more than once to get it to show up? By show of hands. Can you kind of put your hand up nice and high? Because I don't want to feel alone. So keep your hand up nice and high if you had to resubmit your Google map a couple times. If anybody says, I have no idea what that is, put your hand up. Anybody here? Okay, just working through that. Okay, great. So it's not abnormal for what you said to be a question. And then I would just say this because you're super kind and super great. Just bring it up. We'll resubmit it, and we'll keep doing it over and over. And the more times that you bring it up, the more that we care, and we're just going to keep doing it until it works. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Back to the garage world. Do you have any questions about your garage business at all? Any questions at all? Because I got Greg here, and Greg, in my opinion, is kind of in the groove now. Greg is now in the groove. This time last year, Greg was not in the groove, but he was starting to get in the groove. And as a DJ, back to DJ school, Coeur d'Alene. When you're a DJ, who's been to a wedding where the DJ could not get the crowd in the groove? Who's been to that wedding? It's tough. That's why I don't like going to weddings unless I'm DJing. It's hard. It's so hard for me to go to weddings. It's hard. Because I go to the wedding and I'm like, this could be so much better if we would just get I could see it in my mind, but I'm not asked to do it. The last time this happened to me where my cousins, I was there, and they go, could you take over? And I'm not the DJ. And I go, you want me to take over another man's equipment? And they go, yeah, because it's not happening. And I'm like, babe, to my wife, can I take over another man's equipment? She goes, as long as you're not taken down and not getting paid, just let her rip. So about 10 minutes later, we're having San Diego rocking. But there's a system to it. And so you got to get rocking. So who's ever been a DJ? Anybody been a DJ? Okay, so this is what you would do if you have a group of white people. You got to work through it. It's tough. Okay, but you'd say, okay, so how many people here know the bride? People are like, woo! How many people know the groom? Woo! How many people are here? Okay, real quick. Have a letter from the bride. Tough. I'm going to read it to you. Who am I to not read this? This might or might not be from the bride, but she says, "Dear family, I don't want my wedding to be terrible. Signed, the bride." Oh my God, terrible. People are like, I'll say something where it's somewhere between passive aggressive, high pressure, low pressure. Something's happening. I'll try that. If that doesn't work, I'll do a Soul Train line. If that doesn't work, I'll get all the ladies, all the dudes. If that doesn't work, I'll just start screaming. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it'll happen. And once it gets going, who's been to the wedding where once it gets going, now the momentum is there? Who's seen it? Who's seen it? Where now it's like you walk in and you're on the floor. Who's been to weddings like that? It's called a not white wedding. Who's been to like a Hispanic wedding? Who's Hispanic and has been to a Hispanic wedding of some kind? Okay, isn't it a different energy? Everyone's dancing. You're almost like the odd guy if you don't, So you want to it's that cruise ship kind of vibe where it's like everyone's having a good time. So you, as a business owner, you got to get into that momentum, into that flow. You got to keep going, feel the flow, working it. Okay, so Greg, you're in the flow now. What's it like to be in the flow? Then we'll answer any question that Mark has. What's it like?
I have to tell you, my stress level has probably dropped 85% in the last few weeks. Just for some reason, everything just kind of lined up, and now it seems like we have a bit of a grip on the business and everything.
That corresponds with Greg starting chain smoking, though. He started chain smoking, now he's in the flow. Okay, maybe that's the key. I don't know. But anyway, so Mark, what question or questions do you have? Because I want to get your business into the flow. What do you got?
I know, like right now, it's just busy, super busy right now, and all that stuff. Which I like it. I'm not denying it, but I also want it to run smooth and all that stuff, and have time for family and whatever else I need. And like I'm hearing you saying, like it will get to the point where it runs smooth, which is what I'm after for sure.
Now, what makes it smooth is having a daily huddle. Every single day, you have to. I'm just making sure we're getting this daily flow, feeling the flow. Every day, if you have a business, you've got to have a daily huddle. You just have to. Who here has kids? got to have a daily huddle. Who knows what I'm talking about? You got to go, hey, did you brush your teeth today? And they're like, of course I did this month. This week. Today. Did you brush your teeth today? No. Well, it's a daily. Who knows this? Who's a mom? Who's a dad? Come on. You got to, JD, your business. You help people get scholarships. Why do you have to just daily, every day, organize your day? Every day.
So that you can get into that groove and have that be a machine.
You got to pull the weeds every day. How many of you have ever gardened before? You ever let that garden go for like a month and a half to see what kind of, you come back, it's like Jumanji. There's like monkeys in that thing. You plant a garden, you get all excited, you go to Lowe's or Home Depot because you watch some motivational Martha Stewart thing. So you go plant a bunch of corn and plant a bunch of carrots, and then all of a sudden you forget about it for a month. You come back, there's an orangutan in there hanging out with a little mountain lion. You know what I mean? You gotta pull the weeds every day. Do you not? Who gardens here? How long can you go without pulling the weeds? Come on. 3 weeks. Back to my Uncle Jerry. I learned a lot from Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry had a garden that looked like it was out of a movie or something. Unbelievable garden. And every day Jerry would walk that garden and he would pull every weed. And I'm going, this is an incredible garden. How are you doing it? He's like, every day it's Kaizen. And I'm going, I'm 12. I don't know this guy. I never really met him before my grandparents passed away. So I'm living with the guy I didn't really know. He had big raccoon eyes. Like he looked like the lighting was odd at all times because he probably hadn't been to sleep ever. This guy he would like go to bed and immediately wake up. He's that kind of guy, And Jerry would say it's Kaizen, which means continual improvement, but you pull the weeds every day. And I'm going, every day. This is every day. It's a consistency thing. So every day, and you've got to have a weekly tracking of some kind where you look at your numbers. Greg, why do you got to look at your numbers every week? Then we'll go back to Mark. Why do you got to look at your numbers every week?
It doesn't take very long for them to get out of control, and you realize, whoops, we're not making money on this job. So you really need to keep track of it.
Who can relate to this? And it's where a customer is supposed to pay you, but they don't. And now they owe you money, and you don't have enough money for payroll, and now, who knows what I'm talking about? So you can't let that happen. You got to pull the weeds every day, every week, look at the numbers. Mark, any of your questions about that idea? Because I want to make sure you feel good about that, because you're going to get busier and busier, and you got to master that daily flow.
No, I really don't. I mean, I'm not opposed.
Just make sure you eat that mic, sorry.
The better?
Yeah.
But no, I really don't have any question about it. I mean, it's like, that's what I'm hearing is I got to keep things organized and write everything down and have a schedule and live by it.
Yeah, that's how it works. Now, Aaron, I'm going to bring you up here real quick. Aaron, have you been married for several weeks, several minutes? How long have you been married total at this point?
28 years.
He's got me beat by 3 years, this guy, Aaron.
But you're catching up.
Yes, okay, catching up. Wait a minute, what does that mean? Okay, so, but how many of you know about the marriage flow? There's a marriage flow, is there not a marriage flow? So like tonight, I'm taking my wife on a date because it is scheduled. And it happens every week. But a lot of times, and again, I'm just being real. We were married for, I don't know, I want to say a couple years, and it occurred to me, it happened when we had a kid. Who here had a kid? Oh, yeah. And I remember we were at some, like, couples thing. It was like some home fellowship, and the guy's like, the key to having a good marriage is making sure you keep that weekly date night. And I can feel the hate laser beams looking at me because my wife was probably thinking, like, yeah, we haven't been on a date for, like, a year. Because once the baby happens, who knows what I'm talking about? You can drift out of that. And the guy's like, you want to do every week. And I'm thinking, he's saying once a year is what he's saying. What he's saying, it's a metaphor. This guy, when he says every week, he means once a year. And then it occurred to me, like, wow, it's been a minute. So I remember saying to her, like, I don't think we've been on a date for, like, at least a couple months. And she's like, it's been over a year. And I'm going, oh, no. And that's how life happens, isn't it? So you got to schedule it, because what gets scheduled gets done. So that's a big thing. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to always have demands on your schedule. There's always one more call. Who knows that? There's always one more call, one more customer service issue. Is there not? And if you're not careful, there's always one more dollar to be made. So any feedback you have on that?
I was going to give a marriage tip for getting to 28 years. Some of you aren't there yet. So my thing was, when I came home at the end of the day, my wife felt like I gave my best to my day before I got home. She gave me this feedback. The feedback loop was intense. But So finally I decided, okay, I would come home, and when I had kids, the kids are running to me when they're little. They're like running to, Daddy, you're home. And then they wanted my attention. And my wife was like, I never get the attention. So we made a rule that Mom gets the first 20 minutes when I walk in the door before the kids get any time. So we train the kids that they don't get my attention first. Mom gets my attention. And somehow our children, it anchored in their brain that Mom and Dad's relationship is the most important, which has really helped our family dynamic over the years. Some of you, that's a tip that might help you not divide your net worth in half in the future.
Look at that. Hey, wow, financial tip. Greg.
My wife got 2 dogs to keep me from spending too much time with her.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great, Greg. Okay. Any other questions, Mark, about growing your company? Because I want to make sure you're feeling good about it. You feel good?
I do. I mean, and what you just said just now, I've heard it myself. I come home, hey, how's it going, blah, 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 and have a coffee, whatever, and
Yeah.
automatically my mind's still on work. I'm back into estimates. I'm thinking of stuff. I don't want to forget it.
Yeah.
And then she thinks, so what? I'm
So let me show you
second-best,
a couple things. Aaron said some things. I'll put this on the screen here. Sean, will you pull it up? It's called, look at the Dropbox. It's Christmas Tower, Sean. So what my wife and what my kids and I do, you want to like create your own traditions, okay? So you want to create like some things, so you have like, in a business, you put a lot of time into your business, right? But we talked about it. A business is a vehicle, right? To get you where you want to go. We on the same page? So in our family, this is last year's Christmas tower. So click on that one. Every year, this is my wife's Christmas tower. Every year, my kids and I, we start buying gifts for my wife starting now, which is, April? And we keep buying gifts, and we wrap them throughout the year. And so by the time we come to Christmas, the tower of gifts is significantly taller than my wife, okay? So if you go back, Sean, click back in Dropbox, you'll see a different version of this Christmas tower. This is when they're little kids, okay? And same thing, same family. They're a lot bigger now, but there you go, Christmas tower. And so it's kind of something we do where we're like, hey, we're going to do as a family. We're hopping in the car with Dad. We're doing this routine. We're going to go shop for Mom. And we do this all year. And it's just something fun we do. So we could be anywhere in the world. And my kids, it could be April. My kids are like, those shoes would be awesome for Mom. And so we'll buy shoes for my wife and kind of hide them. And it's a cash economy. I mean, it's like the drug economy, okay? It's sort of it's kind of like, but we sneak the gifts away, and it's something fun we're doing, but we're scheduling that, okay? So we go back to page 4, faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. It is so important that we schedule time for these things, right? Because by default, what's going to happen? In any area, by default, JD, what's going to happen by default? Any area of life, if we're not intentional, what happens?
The weeds are going to grow.
Yeah. And it's gonna get weird by default, okay? It's gonna get weird by default. Aaron Antis, I want to talk about intentionality for a second. So we're going to box 7. I feel good about box 7. Box number 8. Do we feel good about box number 8? Anybody have any questions about box number 8? Anybody have any questions about box number 8, which is again on page 5? Determine your customer acquisition costs. I'm gonna wage war on this, okay? Somebody here doesn't know how much money it costs you to get a new customer. So we're going to take a little 15-minute stretch break. We'll come back here at 3:30, and I want to wage war on this because there's somebody out there spending huge amounts of money on advertisement that doesn't work, but you're just doing it because you've always done it, and it's creating problems, okay? So we're going to bring up Karime to talk about this. We'll bring up John to talk about this, okay? So we'll kind of shift the cast of characters. We're coming back here at 3:30. We got 2 more sessions. We're coming back here at 3:30 to talk about customer acquisition costs. Coming back here, what does it cost you to get a new customer? Sean, are you ready? Sean, hit it. Okay, here we go. Come back here at 3:30.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart, and I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good, and then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is. He is.
He has just a wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I mean, I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects, you know what I mean? people rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever was important. My rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.